All right. Let's at least figure out fragments. And then I'll give you homework. We'll see. All right, so if I remember from last time, we tried to add 4 fragments into something that was a vertical layout, and they probably were being added, but they seem to be all right on top of each other. Seem to be the experience. Well, let's just run this again to make sure. So I'm thinking anti-bubble water bottles, whether they work or not. You can really convince people to buy those, but charge a premium. You'd pay for that, wouldn't you? Yeah, just out of the anxiety of, hey, there might be bubbles in this. People could probably get you to buy all sorts of stuff. You know, the poison ivy sleeves to protect you from the.
Probably wouldn't buy them.
Have you ever watched Seinfeld?
No. Oh, I've seen it.
You could be Bubble Boy. He's a guy that lives in a bubble because everything affects him.
You ever seen Benchwarmers?
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so I would say off topic, but pretty much on topic what we've been talking about. So there was a funny Facebook post I replied to this morning. So just so I don't get the quote wrong, I'm going to read just the first sentence of this post. I misinterpreted it. So the post was, "That's twice today that Java escaped via the back gate." That's twice today that Java escaped via the back gate. Now, in context, when you read the rest of it, Java apparently is the name of her dog, and got out the back gate. Well, Java could. Well, I interpreted that as you drank coffee and got diarrhea. That's how it reads. My students usually call that phrasing.
Did you comment that on it?
I did.
What did they say?
I said, "I totally read the first sentence of your post in a much different way than you intended. My translation was, her coffee gave her diarrhea." She said, "I reread," this is the person who posted it. A couple other people replied saying, like, laugh out loud and stuff like that. She said, "I reread and can see your point. My other dog's name is Coco. Could have the same problem if she escaped." All right, so we click on our stack guy here, and the idea is that there should be 3 of these, and I suspect they're all sitting right on top of each other. That might have to do with how the... Just as a check here, let's go ahead and let's create, we'll just do it for 2, just to keep ourselves sane. Let's create a second layout that we'll drop the second fragment into, just to kind of prove that these guys are going where they're supposed to be going. Okay, so we'll go over here to, that's our activity stack, this guy. So here's our current layout. So here we'll shrink that guy. Whoop, whoop, something happened. Everybody relax. Okay, well, let's just drag another one out here. So we'll give ourselves another. You can do it. All right, so. Actually, I wonder, the first one, layout is to match the parent. Relative layout okay, well that shouldn't be an issue then. So I think we need to do this. We need to give ourselves another vertical. and then drag each of these into that guy. Oh. Okay, so there's our two different dudes there. So we're gonna, this one was called Tower. We'll call this guy Tower 2. Fair enough. So we'll go back into our code now, and we're gonna grab, we'll add this guy to Tower 2. And let's see if we can get two dudes on the screen. You should see two buttons, gravity, center, bottom. Okay, yep, so we got two dudes. It really seems like so the fragment took over the entire well, actually, we're okay. So having said that, let's do it this way. So if I go to, that's our single disk for right now, and we go to this guy, and instead we make this a horizontal collection, each having two vertical collections, and we make those guys all right. So if we change the gravity in here to be bottom, that should squeeze both those guys down there. It is interesting though that it's got to be that it's because this is in a relative layout. I hate relative layouts. Why does it give you a relative layout as the default? Give it these top two things too. Okay, so now the whole thing is in a horizontal linear layout with two guys there at the bottom. So let's see what this looks like. Let's see if it'll resize to fit it in each one of those. That's going to probably have to do with our fragment disk. This guy is he set up to match the parent for width and height. So since this guy's parent is going to be each of these two guys, it'll just match the width and height of that. So the what you might call it thing should fit. I think there's a way to have this just have a percent, but we'll leave it for right now. Just see how it. So it should give us two guys in there. All right, so there's our two stacks. And then if we want to put a third because we're going to ultimately have 3 stacks. We'll go ahead and give ourselves, so this is, I'm going to call this guy tower 1. We'll call this guy tower 2. And then we'll give ourselves one more. That's tower 3. All right, so now we need to have all of these guys have a size because you can do it as a percentage. Oh yeah, here's the height and the width. I think we can make the percentage Android width percentage. Okay, layout weight is 0.7. So we would do layout weight 0.33. So we would take out this, no longer a thing. In fact, we probably select all of these. And we would take out width, and then layout weight would be 0.33. Oh, I thought I had all of them selected. Apparently not. So we're going to unset the width and just let the weight do it for us. All right, that seems to do the 33. All right, so we use layout weight to give it as a percentage across there. So let's see if our dudes fit now. This should give us 3 towers. Not dealing with any animation stuff, but just dealing with stuff. What row was it? Could this guy not fit in there? Can't imagine that was the issue. Let's just try running it one more time, just in case there was a something weird that happened. Let's just try that. Just in case the button was too big. That looks like it should be okay. Oh, actually, before we even do that, let's just comment out these 3 lines. We won't even try to drop the fragments in. I wonder if we broke something when we removed that relative layout. Okay, well, so let's try dropping 1 in. Oh, it's because we don't have a tower 1 anymore. I called them 1, 2, and 3. I was testing you. It all failed. Every one of you. Tower 3. All right. Click it. All right, so there's our 3 towers. We have some buttons in here. All right, so right now we're doing this all as a button, but realistically, well, the reason we're doing it as a button is we want these guys to be clickable as opposed to, well, for right now, to keep things simple, as opposed to us clicking and dragging something to a different tower. We'll do that, but right now we're only introducing one little Android thing at a time. Okay, so for right now, let's go ahead and we'll have a new button drop in here each time we click this button. Let's just do that for right now, just to get that movement working. So this guy is called a tower, and that guy is a vertical linear layout. We already have 1 button in here. So what we're going to do is inside of our disk fragment, we're going to go ahead and give ourselves a public void button clicked view v. All right, and this guy needs to be able to access the layout. So we're going to give ourselves a private view. We'll just call it layout here. And we're going to say this dot layout is equal to the view version of this dot. Oh, we can't do it by find view by ID. We actually have to inflate. Well, let's make sure we can do this button click thing then. System.out. Put some asterisks before this. And we'll make sure we let that button know what his on click is. It's in here. It's in here. On click. There's that. So let's make sure we can click those buttons. What is he upset about right now? Oh, he doesn't like this guy. Okay. So it looks like we couldn't click our buttons, so we're going to have to probably add on item listeners to those directly. So we will. All right, no homework for the weekend. But only because I was late.